Today I'm going to explain why I don't believe this narrative that's being peddled that West Ham are skint. We've got no money to spend, we've got to cut our cloth in this transfer window. Don't believe it, and I'll explain why. But something else has annoyed me before I get to that. And I don't want to bring you to the video under false pretences. I will discuss that. But there's something else about Declan Rice and David Moyes which has really annoyed me. And I'm not going to do a video on its own. We've got the England game tonight as well. By the time I do a video, it'll all be gone. Well, I was going to say forgotten. Clearly it hasn't been forgotten. And there'll be people that say, look, leave it alone, mate. Don't let it bother you. You know, what's in the past in the past. Well, yeah, I mean, it would be. And I probably had. But David Moyes has gone and brought it up, hasn't he? And what he's done, he's admitted a mistake that we all knew he was making at the time. I'm going to paraphrase him here rather than, try and repeat word for word what he took, 5-6 minutes to say. Basically, David Moyes admitted that he tinkered with the midfield construction, the composition of the midfield with Thomas Souček and Declan Rice, and as a result, the midfield deteriorated. I mean, he's pretty much admitted that. What I mean exactly by that? Well, Thomas Souček, we had we bought him in January. Thomas Souček, we actually got him in loan on January. It was his first full season. He scored double figures goals. We had this rampaging box to box midfielder. He was scoring goals. He was the attacking force in central midfield. The defensive force was Declan Rice. David Moyes admitted the season afterwards he changed it round. He changed Thomas Souček into a defensive guy, and he changed Declan Rice into the attacking guy. There's a little bit more detail on that, but that's basically it. And he's admitted that, well, the team suffered as a result. It's annoying. I knew that at the time. You knew that at the time. And David Moyes has admitted it now. And as I say, probably should let it go. But I find it incredible, really, that not that he's admitted it. I guess I'm glad he has, but I just wish it sort of hadn't happened in the way that it has. Look, I guess you could say it was a success. At the end of the day, the club won its first ever European trophy, and possibly Declan Rice's value increased as a result of this tinkering. What we did lose, though, and the player has never really recovered, is the rampage in Thomas Souček. He doesn't really exist anymore. David Moyes turned him into a defensive midfielder, basically. And do you know what? That's fine. He's pretty damn good at it as well. Let me just say that. I really enjoyed watching Souček play the other night for Czech Republic. Him and Soufal had decent games against Portugal, by the way. And I think enjoy watching it. His clearances and the headers and the blocks, great, well done. But we never got that player back, that box-to-box midfielder who could score double amount of goals a season. If you remember, after his first season, being linked with halfway through his first season, being linked with Bayern Munich for 60 million, and nobody was saying, hold on, this guy ain't worth that. We were shitting ourselves, quite frankly, saying, hold on, well, let's hope this guy doesn't go. I just find it incredible from Moyes that, well, it says two things. Number one, he's come out and said it, but all of the naysayers, all the people, a lot of the pundits, who are very anti-West Ham fan, the be careful what you wish for brigade, they won't turn around now and go, oh, actually, he has admitted it, those West Ham fans had a point. No, I mean, nothing to be said about it. It was weird to witness the destruction of the midfield, actually, that David Moyes oversaw. And I think it's one of the reasons why we had that relegation scrap that we did season before last. I just don't think the midfield was functioning. As I say, you could come back and say, well, actually, it worked because we won the Conference League. But that Conference League win it's not even paper over the cracks. What it did is it did put quite a thin layer of glossy emulsion over the crap that had been underneath in that season, because it had been pretty bad. I mean, it came very close to being sacked in November of that year, if you remember, and possibly December as well. But anyway, that was that. The other thing I think with David Moyes on that one is he's got this reputation of being this no-nonsense, single-minded guy who does what he wants. So much so that David Moyes doesn't want to work with the director of football. So much so that David Moyes doesn't want to be the head coach. He wants to be the manager. So all of these, there's an inconsistency here, and you'll see the contradiction in it immediately. So you've got this all-powerful guy who wants to run the club, do what I do what I say, all of that sort of stuff. Yet, because a player says to him, David, I want to expand my game, he basically deconstructs the composition of his team. It's weird. It doesn't make sense. Well, hold on, where's this strong, no-nonsense guy then? None of it makes sense. It's a complete contradiction. It's a paradox. It really is. Look, maybe I've had my final word on it, but honestly, the more I think about it, the more muddled David Moyes' thinking is. Just, absolutely amazed that he did it, really. And, I wonder if he has any regrets. I didn't sense any regret doing it. But what was definitely clear was, when you read his words, when you listen to his words, it's a case of a man who was aware that he made an error. Weird thing to preside over, really. Anyway, okay, let's have a little chat about this money thing. Okay, while I'm talking about the money thing is there is a suggestion. Sean Whitson said it about a week ago. Ex-West Ham United employee has said it. There's a number of people that said it because it's being leaked by the club that actually we've got to cut our cloth accordingly. We don't have much money to spend. None of it makes any sense. By the way, I believe that both Sean and Ex have been told that information. In fact, I know for a fact the club are saying it. I don't think it's true. And by the way, I don't blame them for peddling that narrative. Why would you necessarily want everybody to know how much money you got? It was in any other negotiation other than football, you're not going to show your hand, you're not going to show how much money you got to spend, are you? So I sort of don't mind it, but also it doesn't make sense. It's another contradiction, just in the same way that David Moyes was a massive contradiction there. I do believe that the club were very much looking at selling Lucas Paquetá. And I think that was going to fund something. And when that's fallen through, I do believe that they're going to have to readdress that. I think certainly Julian Lopetegui is going to have to look at the composition of the team and probably look to include Paquetá where he can, up until the point where he can't play anymore, if indeed that happens. But that deal that was probably going to make up quite a lot of the transfer budget, the 80-odd million from Man City, is not going to be there. Now, I think what that's probably done is probably meant that we can't buy Paquetá's replacement, and possibly there would have been one more on top of that. So, can we do that? No. But I still think there's a whole host of other targets that we are still going to go and get. See, the thing is, who are you going to believe? Because on the one hand, you've got a lot of people who are in the know saying there's no money to spend. And then you've also got a whole load of other people who are in the know who are saying, well, we're linked with this player and we're linked with this player, and West Ham have opened talks for Almirudian, or West Ham have opened talks for Max Kilman, or whoever it might be. You also got to factor in what Kieran Maguire said, and Kieran Maguire, just in case you don't know, is the authority on football finances. We've been lucky enough to have him on Hammer's Chat on a number of occasions. He said to us, West Ham's bank balance is very, very healthy. West Ham, also, if you look at the figures, there's another pointer. Look at the figures for West Ham. We're nowhere near FFP. And as profit and sustainability. Now, whilst I don't like the rules, they do give an indicator of how much money you have. And if you are nowhere near breaching profit and sustainability rules, then you've got money to spend, quite frankly. We've clearly not spent all the money we've got from Declan Rice, clearly not spent all the money we've got from Scamacca. There was also other little bits as well from Vlasic here and there. There was a little bit from Masuaku as well. Factor in other stuff. You got Ben Rama money, you got Tilo Kehrer money, Fornell's money. You've got massive wages being saved on those players as well as others that are gone. There's little bits here and there. There's a Nathan Trott for a couple of million and so on and so forth. We're nowhere near it. So I actually do believe that the club still have money to spend. Just do not believe this whole narrative of no money at all. Do I think we're going to go and spend £45 million on Max Kilman? No, but I don't think it would be that. But I do think we'd probably go and spend quite a lot. Wouldn't be surprised if we go and spend £30-odd million on a centre-back. And even then, I think there's still money there. I believe there, even without selling Lucas Paquetá, there's money there for a centre-back, and I believe there's money there for a striker. Then you might have to cut your cloth in some way, shape or form. But there's no way. I actually think we've been trimming the wages since the season before last. Since I never felt that Lanzini was really replaced, for instance. And he was on big wages. When he left, he was on big wages. We discussed Annie Dings yesterday. If Annie goes, then that's going to save, quite a lot on wages. Not the $100,000 a week that's quoted, but I do believe it's about $80,000 a week, something like that. It's a significant amount, really, isn't it? And then you've just got other players who you come into the end of their contract, they're leaving. It's gonna happen. Look, we'll deal with Thomas Souček another day. Obviously, we've referenced him in regard to him and Declan Rice, but look. there's movement. There's movement within the squad, and I just don't believe it. I do not believe that we're not going to be able to bring in any players. There's just too much evidence. So I just think it's a negotiation ploy. And you've got to appreciate West Ham are doing things differently now. Look at the business that we've done for Luis Guilherme. That's done differently. So if we're going to do that differently, why if we're going to be shrewd and we're going to be tactical and we're going to play things a different way in a transfer market, and if Tim Stuyton is now running transfers, and I think we have every reason to believe that all those things are true, why are we suddenly going to start blurting out, our transfer budget and whatnot? I'm sure we have underplayed it. I'm sure we are playing it down. I think that's probably the sensible thing to do. You do, and you should be doing it if you're buying a footballer, or you should be doing it if you're buying a bicycle off eBay. Quite frankly, you should be bidding, you should be negotiating, and you should not be declaring to anybody how much money you got to spend. Nothing on a bicycle. For me, by the way, I did have a very nice bicycle. My son keeps riding it all the time, all the bloody time. He don't clean it. You don't need to hear all of that. What I do want to do is have a little chat about the England game tonight before I let you lovely lot go on your merry way. Before I do, please make sure you've downloaded the Match Bingo app. You've all heard me talk about it loads and loads of times. Loads of people are winning money on this app. It's £2 to play the game today. I can't guarantee that somebody watching this video is going to win on the England Match Bingo tonight, but it's highly bloody likely. Let's be fair. Loads and loads and loads of you have won. You can even go back and check on the previous games. You go and join Charlie for the watch along this evening. Actually, during the last watch along, Charlie announced 2 winners from Hammers Chat, literally as the England game was going on. The England-Serbia game. 2 people from Hammers Chat, you guys won it. Look, links in the description below. Download it. It's betting, so it's over 18s and only. So sorry, boys and girls, you're going to have to... Mum and Dad are going to have to be playing that. There are free-to-play games on there. All the Euros is covered on Match Bingo, but there's a boosted pot for tonight. It's over £1,000 in terms of prizes for the England-Denmark game. Get it downloaded. I've already got my bingo card. Even I've won on it. I won 50 quid of it. Ain't bad, is it? You probably know that because I haven't stopped talking about it. I don't win much, but there you go. But I won on that. The England game tonight. England don't need to win. That's the truth of the matter, and that worries the hell out of me because I think England. Be nice to see England have a performance, but you watch Portugal, right? You watch France. Germany have looked really good. There's no doubt about that. But they're the host nation as well, and they're playing like it, and they do have an embarrassment of riches. England have got an embarrassment of riches. Listening to, certainly some of the interviews that have been given and some of the quotes from a lot of the newspapers, it sounds like there's a bit of a backlash from the England players. They've been a bit stung by the criticism. Why they're stung by the criticism, I've no idea. Any England player who is surprised by criticism has not been paying attention, because as long as I can remember, as long as I've been watching England, it's always been there. In fact, and people talk about the social media. I think there's a lot of things that social media has made things get more attention. I don't think the England team is one of them. I think the England team has always had the whole country's attention, particularly when it comes to major tournaments. It's just spread more wide now. It's now just not the red top newspapers, it's everyone, it's on social media and everyone's got a thing to say. But it seems like particularly with the whole Phil Foden, his place in the team, his inability to maybe get involved in the game, the Serbia game, and it's not just that, he's not had a startlingly stunning game for England, and unless my memory is playing tricks on me, of course. And I think they've been stung by it. And I think it seems to me like they do have a point to prove. There's some weird stories coming out. They've been drinking pickled prune juice or something like that as a way to... I don't know. It reminds me of an old Harry Redknapp. It was when Harry Redknapp was... he was managing somewhere or other. And Arsene Wenger came into the English game, Arsenal, and Arsene Wenger revolutionised the English game. And particularly in terms of training and in terms of diet. So everyone up to that point had been drinking and smoking and getting fish and chips and having a steak and kidney pie before the match. And I'm over egging the pudding here, but Arsene Wenger came in and said, "Oh, you don't do that. Run around more. No smoking. No drinking. No drinking sessions. And eat lots of fish and eat lots of pasta." And and I can't remember exact quote. I remember Harry Redknapp being told all this. He said, "Look, he said, I don't care." And he used the player as example, and he said, "I don't care how much pasta you give, someone. They can't kick a ball. They can't kick an effing ball." Don't get me wrong. I think they're athletes and they should look after themselves. But I do wonder if they might be overdoing the pickled prune juice or whatever it is. They got more problems than that. But you know what? England are in it. I think England need to win, just to give the whole campaign a little bit of a bounce, a little bit of spring behind it. But I'm looking forward to the game anyway. I'll be half hour before kickoff. I'll be doing a little mini build-up show before the game, and then Charlie will be taking you through the watch-along. That's over on the main channel, and I may, it depends what happens, I may go live on this channel straight away afterwards. That'll be later on today. I may, let me know in the comments if you want me to do it, and then maybe we can do that. If not, I will certainly upload very, very shortly afterwards. Anyway, I guess I'll catch you half hour before the game.